$2,800 to fix that small little crack? No way, can't do it. I'm gonna do it myself. You're gonna be here to watch. The only thing I'm scared of is my wife losing all respect for me. Stay tuned. I'm about to attempt to do something that my country girl wife is a little bit nervous about. I acted like I knew exactly what I was doing. I've never played with fiberglass before. And yes, it started freaking me out. But to save $2,800, $2,500, yeah, I'm going to try, especially in today's day and age where everything's so expensive. Who has that much money to spare anymore anyways? So I'm going to try it, but I'm going to take you guys along with me so you can see what ends up happening when you try it yourselves. So let's get to it. Let's see how it all works out. In case you're wondering how it happened, I'd like to say it was something really fantastic, some great story, but no. She was the cause. And I do appreciate that there. Huh, Red? I do appreciate that. Tell everybody how happy you are about it. Huh? Tell everybody. You're a good girl. But that's what caused it. She's been using that for shelter forever. I mean, before this RV, we had it there with another RV and a boat. Never did any damage. The only thing I could say is she got spooked and created a little bit of damage. So now it's time for us to fix it up. Okay. All right, I'm going to start by using some 80 grit, bring it all the way down, give a nice slope going in, so that way the fiberglass has something to adhere to. By the way, I learned all this on the University of YouTube. Here we go. It like this wasn't going to work, so time to try something new. Ended up being a good idea. It was working so much faster and so much better. Also, I'm still using 80 grit sandpaper to do this. Now I brought it down to the fiberglass. I made a V going all the way around, heavy V here and going in deep here. You can see where the fiberglass, that way it has something to adhere to, and I used 80 grit sandpaper. Next is cleaning it up and putting some in. Right here I'm just showing you a little diagram of what I'm talking about. You can see the damaged areas and the other areas. You're trying to make like a little V shape going in. That way all your fiberglass has something to stick to. Also, I don't show it on here, but I want to show you the product that I'm using. You could buy this product at any Walmart, any auto parts store, Amazon. I happen to buy this at Ace Hardware. So hope this helps you out. All right, I cleaned it all up with some regular rubbing alcohol, making sure I'm getting all the dust and getting all grease and stuff off of it. I sprayed it a few times, made sure, and then let it dry. Let that dry. You can see I brought it down to the fiberglass and it's all in a bowl. In other words, there's a lip going down, all the way around. I taped it off so I wouldn't get any junk on here. Marked it off to where all the low points are. It's actually just below this line, so I know I don't need to pass that line. And I've put in a couple because it's deeper over here, so that way I could put it in a little bit. And then I made a couple larger ones that'll fit the whole thing, and some smaller ones that I'll just be able to layer in, and we'll see how that works. Mixing up the resin real well. I'm gonna get that resin in the crack.
What I'm really trying to do is push that brush in to make sure that I get a lot of resin on the inside of that crack. That way the fiberglass has something to adhere to and stick to.
Put some resin everywhere I'm gonna get.
Make sure to look at my next week's video, because I'm going to be spray painting this brand new RV. Yeah, I said spray paint. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And if you're finding any of this helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button, guys. Leave a comment if you've ever tried anything like this, because I'll tell you the truth, it had me real nervous. But make sure to check out my spray painting video. Pieces in there. You can't really see it, but I'm really pushing it in with the brush. At one point here, you'll see where I'm really going to take a thicker piece and just really cram it on in there. I'm just trying to make sure that that whole crack is filled and it doesn't split on me later on. Also, you'll notice that I'm really putting a lot of resin on. I'm really soaking it in there. I don't want no air bubbles or anything like that, so I do spend a little bit extra time making sure that I am putting a decent amount of resin on it. You can tell I'm starting to use larger pieces. This is about the size of the whole damaged area that I'm putting on. I'm still putting on a decent amount of resin, again, to try to keep all the air out of it and have a good base to it. But I did cut them. They start getting smaller. Right here, you'll notice the next one I put on is a little bit smaller. Not much, just a little bit. And they get smaller from there. Right here, as I'm going along, my confidence level is building up a little bit. I'm not quite as nervous as I was before, because things are actually working out real well as up to this point.
Trying to build up this side here.
Up to this point, Rose has not come out at all to see what I'm doing or how it was going. I would like to think is because she trusted me, but I could be wrong. Hey, leave a comment down below if your significant other, your spouse, would allow you to do something like this. I know Rose, when I mentioned it to her, she had one of those nervous smiles to her. I don't even know if you could call it a smile, but she said, go ahead and try. Worst case scenarios, we'll get it fixed. That bottom part right there, I didn't realize. I mean, this is using a lot more than I expected to use. I'm trying to build up that bottom part because it was so deep. As a matter of fact, at one point I had to stop and cut a little bit more fiberglass up because I'm just trying to build it up. and every time I put it on there, it's almost like I wasn't doing anything. But it's working out well. Right here, you're noticing that I'm putting a lot more in the center. What I'm trying to do is I decided I'm going to build it up a little bit higher than what I needed. The reason why is I didn't want to have to go back and try to put more fiberglass on. I figured it would be better, you know, I know it's going to create more work for me, but at the same token, I wanted to make sure that I had it higher than I needed it. Also at the end, you'll see me putting a small little other pieces on there. I was just looking to see if I could find anything that even remotely looked as a low spot. So I put just a couple more pieces on. Again, better safe than sorry.
Don't do what I'm doing. I'm just seeing if this is going to work out. $2,500 is a lot of money. I know I could put it on insurance, but I'm not going to do that. My worst case scenario is I have to get this all fixed up, but I have to try to see if this works out. And we're going to let this dry, and I'll get back to you guys with the next step. All right, guys, as you can see, it's hard as a rock. I'm going to go ahead and sand it down with some 80 grit paper until I get it close to flush, and then I'll go down on it. I did end up gluing some of this tape on here, but I'll learn that for next time.
It's going to take us a long time to get this thing done. I'm making sure though not to hit the RV where I did not put any on there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed it up for you guys, try to save the boredom till we get towards the end.
All right, after sanding it down, I took a level to make sure, or square, to make sure that there's no high spots and no low spots. We are completely level. That looks pretty good. All right. Gonna let this set up for a little bit, and then we'll get down to the next step. See you guys on the next step. All right, so now I'm getting ready to Bondo. This is where the sandpaper went a little too far. This is not sandpaper, I just took the coat off of it. So what I'm going to do is, I know I'm sanded all the way up to this point with 80 grit. I'm just going to slightly go over to where I'm going to go.
Right now I'm sanding it with some 120 grit everywhere that I'm going to put Bondo. That way it has something well to adhere to.
Wash this down. I don't have lacquer thinner, but I'm using alcohol. All right, let me mix up some Bondo and I'll be right back with you guys.
Right here, I'm going to show you the Bondo that I used. Again, you can buy it anywhere.
All right, I mixed myself up some Bondo, and I'm just going to put a light little coat on it at first. Pushing down hard.
Make sure to read the instructions on how to mix that Bondo up, because apparently if you don't mix it correctly, it's not going to work out real well, dry out on you, or not fill in correctly. So make sure to do that.
That's so I get on all the grooves that are in there. Now I'm going to go over the second coat of it a little thicker.
Here I have the same theory as I did with the fiberglass. I'm going to make sure I have more than I need on there. Again, I know it's more work as far as sanding wise goes, but I'm going to make sure I have it nicely level in there. That way I don't have any problems when it comes down to paint time. Again, with the spray paint coming up.
Alrighty, now I'm going to let that dry. Alright, I put the Bondo on. It's been about 10 minutes. It feels like it's dry. So I'm going to start off with some 80 grit, and then I'm going to work myself to 120.
Right here, I'm just cleaning it up to see if I can find any pinholes in it, just to make sure I have a nice smooth surface. But I do find one.
I don't see any pinholes. I cannot tell if that's a pinhole or not. Yeah, I might want to add just a hair bit right to here. Alright, I put the second coat on there. I didn't know if they were pinholes or not, but better be safe than sorry.
So I'm sanding down the second coat. I'm just went ahead and used the 120 sandpaper to get it nice and smoothed out.
Alrighty, just finished 120. Went all the way around. It's the closest thing I have to a straight edge.
Right here, I'm just making sure I've got this thing nice and flat. I don't want any bumps on there. Again, I don't want my country wife coming out there and hit me in the head.
Wow, that's pretty good.
If you guys liked any of this, please hit the like and subscribe button if you found it helpful. Leave your comments. And for those of you who have done this before, I know I'm not doing it all the correct way, but to be honest with you, I was very pleased with the results I got right here. So far, so good. But look for the next one. I'm going to be spray painting my new RV. This is going to be fun. Let's see you guys next time, all right? Thank you for watching.
I think that's about as straight as I can get it. So next thing, I'm going to let this thing really heal up a little bit, and then we'll prime it and paint it.